As the world is becoming increasingly interconnected, digitalization and globalization have made global economic connections grow deeper, broader, but more intricate. In such an era, more than 130 countries have signed an agreement on comprehensive changes in how global companies are taxed to discourage multinational companies from garnering profits in nations where they pay little or no taxes, also known as tax havens. In today's episode of Explained, we'll take a look at corporate tax, international tax relations, and the framework in India. Corporate tax is a direct tax on the income of companies, that is, on their profits. Some countries compete for revenue by using very low rates to lure companies, attracting huge tax bases that generate enormous revenue even if tax rates are just above zero. Between 1985 and 2018, the global average corporate headline rate dropped from 49% to just 24%. MNCs indulged in a practice called profit shifting, where they pay less tax than they should by moving the profit it makes in the country where it manufactures products or sells goods and services into a tax haven. Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development has come up with a two-pillar solution to address the tax challenges that arise from the digitalization of the economy. This agreement is targeted primarily at low or no tax jurisdictions seeking to curb unhealthy tax competition. Under the first pillar, the world's biggest companies will have to pay taxes in countries where they do business, even if they don't have a physical presence over there. On the other hand, under Pillar 2, multinational companies will now be subject to a global minimum corporate tax, which will be 15%. This is a sweeping change to the tax system, as companies were earlier able to earn large profits in a market without paying much tax there. The deal has been agreed upon by over 130 countries that represent more than 90% of global GDP. The implementation of the agreement is expected from 2023. If we take a look at the tax regime in India, the tax rate continues to be higher than global average. Companies in India can reduce their tax liability through various exemptions and deductions provided under provisions of the Income Tax Act. Thanks to these incentives, various companies were able to show nil taxable income despite making substantial profits and paying out dividends. So, Centre introduced Minimum Alternate Tax or MAT, where companies within the ambit of Income Tax Act were brought and were made to pay minimum amount of tax to the government. India has entered into around 100 bilateral tax treaties for avoidance of double taxation. In order to boost investment and growth in the economy, central government in 2019 reduced basic corporate tax rate from 30% to 22%. In Lok Sabha, government stated that the likely revenue foregone due to this reduction was estimated to be 1.45 lakh crore rupees. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman in October said that India is in the last stage of finalizing global detail on global minimum tax. During her recent visit, Finance Minister appreciated OECD's decision on global tax as it helps to address tax challenges arising from the digitalization of the economy. If the global minimum tax deal comes into effect, India will be expected to withdraw its digital services tax. Once the agreement comes into force, countries will have no choice but to compete on the skills of their workers and their capacity to innovate. And this is where India should find an opportunity to shine.